We've entered the season of overly long movies, or movies that seem overly long. Even worse, we've got two that appear to have borrowed a key plot point and opened in the same week. In News of the World, Tom Hanks goes back to post-Civil War times and goes on a journey with a 10-year-old girl. In The Midnight Sky, George Clooney steps into the future and finds a 7-year-old girl who helps him through the end of the world. Both trips could use a lot more humor. In News of the World, Hanks plays a traveling orator who reads newspapers and tells stories to residents in Texas. He's an entertainer of sorts, but he's also an introspective man who doesn't want to get too involved in the communities he visits. On the way to a gig, he spots an overturned wagon and nearby, a young girl who doesn't speak English. She was on her way to connect with relatives after the death of her parents. Fearing what might happen to her, Hanks, an ex-infantryman, agrees to take her to her new home. Along the way, he learns about the Native Americans who took her in while she discovers he has a wife in San Antonio. Because Southerners aren't fully accepting of a united country, the two faced racism, hatred, and violence wherever they go. Director Paul Greengrass makes parallels to contemporary times, but the journey is so protracted, much of the messaging gets lost. Hanks is as fine as he always is, an upright, noble sort who just wants to do the right thing, and Helena Zengel, as his 10-year-old traveling companion, offers the kind of support we might have seen from Tatum O'Neal, Jodie Foster, or Dakota Fanning in their day. The photography is good. The plotting isn't. The headline seems to be, Hanks can play anything, but why should he? News of the World isn't earth-shaking, just an opportunity for America's favorite guy to do a Western. In The Midnight Sky, George Clooney doesn't even get a new setting. He's a scientist in the year 2049 who stayed back in the Arctic after an event has happened that promises to kill all life on the planet. Diagnosed with cancer, he fills his days with menial tasks and a desire to contact those in a spaceship to tell them stay put. Like Hanks, he finds a young girl who's lost her way. Because she doesn't speak, she uses drawings to build a friendship. They bond, work together, and go through a host of problems. Now, this too isn't the great adventure you'd think it is. Directed by Clooney, The Midnight Sky never seems to find a ray of hope. While those space travelers don't seem to have a death wish, they're not exactly the lifeline Clooney needs. They at least talk to each other, but they also have problems of their own that lead to a schizophrenic second half. Clooney gets one of those heart-tugging moments at the end. It's a great payoff if you've made it that far. But in the head-to-head competition, Hanks wins the battle over Clooney only because he doesn't start out defeated. Midnight Sky begins its assault right away and doesn't stop hammering. With your movies in a minute, I'm Bruce Miller.